Welcome back to Code of Petit Pois. In this tutorial, we're going to continue with our deconstructing of this Figma file. We're going to be making the projects, and we're going to be using static markdown files, just like we did with the articles. And we're going to make this project section. And then after that, we've got the video section and the footer. So looking at this, we know we're going to want a 2-column layout. We're going to want the year, the title, a bit of information, a little bit of a blurb about what I did, the role, the skills used, and the project link. So that's what we're going to be making. Obviously, as these are my actual projects, I'm not going to be using this in the tutorial, but we'll be using some Unsplash images. So looking at our code, I've got a folder here called, remember we did the folder about articles. Under content, I've got one called projects, and I've just got 2 projects here. We've got what I said, the block architects, could be anything. So I've got the title, the description, the year, an image, the role, skills, and the website. And it's very similar if we look at one of the old, very similar to what we had here, except some of the front matter is a little bit different, but you get the idea. So this is the markdown file. So I can create a new one. We can say project Astro.md, and we'll just take everything from here. And this image, we're going to use the, which one are we going to use? We'll use the Paris Metro. .jpg, and we will call this one Paris Metro. Paris. We'll say 20. This is kind of what I was expecting. What it looks good with. Font bold and uppercase. So that's the title. And then we've got a H3 underneath. Again, we don't need text white if it's on that entire div. And this says project.data.description, so that's where the description comes in. Then we have a div here with a padding top of 8 and a padding bottom of 4. And max width LG, so just to shorten the text. And that is where our content, this content here, will be displayed. Okay. Next, we have a H3 with a span of orange with the role. And then we have a div with a class of flex. And we have H3 skills used, which actually could be a H4, but anyway. And then we want another div with class of flex, which will put all these skills next to each other. So it's a H3 with the class of orange, so the whole text will be orange, but these little spans, which means these little brackets, will be white. So we're looping through the skills and mapping them like we did before with the badges in the article video. And finally, after all those divs, we want a project link, and it has a class of orange and underline, and we've got the project data website. Okay. So now that we've looked through all of those, that's the card. Let us see how we can bring that in to this project. So the project folder, project component, takes all the projects that's in the projects collection, and it goes through all of them, and we're importing also the render, which is similar to what we did with the articles in the slug. And we're looping through all of those and getting the content, and then we're returning the card, like we just looked at the card. We're returning the actual project and this content here, which is the slot that we were referring to. And then at the bottom here, I've got a button for more projects, which doesn't really go anywhere, but it's just similar to what we have in the Figma file. So with all that said, let's take a look. And here we go. So we have the image, the information, the description, what happened. So a little blurb about what happened, the role, the skills used, and the project link. Now the project link, I haven't actually made that into a link, but you can. And I'll show you how to do that. So if we go back to project card, you see it's just an underline here, and a span, it should just be an A. We can change this to an A. And we'll put the href as the project.data.website. And now this will actually be, it will take you there. Now I'm just going to click on this one because it's just going to reload the page. And there we go. Okay. You could say, instead of saying the actual website, you could say whatever you wanted, but that is good. And it's always good to also add a target of blank, just so that any external link opens a new page, a completely different page. But there we go. That's our projects list created, and as you can see, this is a little bit too big, but obviously you'll be using images that are very similar in width and height for your own projects, but this is just very similar to what we have here. We just haven't added the recent projects like we do here. Okay, so let's just do that now. So in the project, we're in the project file, and we're going to have a div, and we're just going to wrap everything inside this div. And what we're going to do, we're going to copy what's inside this hero component here. I don't know why this is a div actually. Oh no, that's not what I want. Sorry, I want offers. Yeah, sorry, this is what I want. Now, because we're going to be using this quite extensively, what we could do is turn it into a component. So if we copy that and we add a new component and we call it heading.astro, and the only thing we want to change in this heading is probably just going to be the text right here. So we could put text and we make that into a prop. Okay. Now we could go into here, and instead of saying all of this, we could say heading text what I offer, and that way nothing has changed. And then in our project we could say heading text, and we can say recent projects, we want to make sure we import the heading as well. All right. So now we've got recent projects, and what I offer is there, recent projects is there. Awesome. So as you can see, we have an issue with our background. So I'm just going to take this here and actually add it at the top here instead. All right, so we've got this right here. Awesome. And we know we want it to be padded, so we can actually remove this class completely, and we'll say class, padding of 8. And then, okay, that's not bad. And we'll format that. Okay. So there we go. So the recent projects, what I offer. We could actually put this here. That might be better. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we got recent projects and we got recent projects. So it's very similar. Okay, it's a little bit off center and everything, but we get the idea. And then you've got more projects at the bottom. And you can change that to have no background. So if we go to here, we do a class of BG-transparent. Then that way and then we can say hover text black. Okay, that doesn't work quite well. But anyway, you can mess around with it, do what you want. But there you go. So you got the projects, and all you need to do is add the. Okay, so this is a border. Okay, let's do this. So we've got a border, and it says more projects, right? Right. So then we just add. PG transparent border dash 1 border dash orange dash 100. Let's see what that looks like. Okay. Now we've got the text. The button size is large, so we remove that. We'll say padding of 8. Okay, padding 32. Oh, I think that was a little bit. There we go. There we go. More projects. Excellent. Okay, 32 is just a little bit too big. Maybe 24. Okay, yeah. And we'll say width full, just so that it goes all the way along. There we go. So that's what we have here. Excellent. So now we need to make this component, which is the videos. So let's do that. We've already know how we're going to add the images here, the heading, and we've got a three column layout here. So first of all, we get the component, and we say new file, and we say videos.astro. We want to import the layout. So we just do layout, and it will import that for us. First of all, we want, well, it's doing a lot for us here. we want to import the heading. And I'm not going to do the services, but we're going to do just a const of videos, and it's going to be, okay, it's created that for us. So we just did an array, title, description, URL, and we're going to loop through those videos. Video.title, video.description. Alright, awesome. And the text that we're supposed to be doing, don't miss out on my new YouTube, new web tutorials. Okay. Okay. Alright, then we can go to our index file in our pages, index.astro, and we can add videos. And we can import videos. There we go. So if we take a look, you've got what I offer, which is very similar to what we have there. And we've got 3 videos. Okay, so now we want to style it a bit better, and we don't need the 2-column layout because that's not what we're doing. We're doing latest videos. We don't need it in a div. We do need that in a div. And for each video, we want to add a image. And we're going to give it a, we're going to say Paris Metro.jpg, and it's going to be, the alt will be the video.title. Alright, let's take a look. Alright, so this is humongous. So what we will do, we will give this a class of grid, and we want the grid to be 3-column layout. Alright, these are huge. So 3-column layout, and we want to put the first div there. Like so. And the second, now I'm going to change the height to be 32 and object cover, so that we have a bit more of a, yeah, that's it, that's more like it. Okay, so we're going to format this. So then, so the first div is the image, and the second div is the title, class of flex. Alright. Awesome. Okay. So we have these, here we are. I'm going to change this back to 3, and I will show you, excellent. Okay, so we're using placehold.co for these images here, 8x4. We could actually say 4x4 instead. There we go, it's a bit more like it. And we have a div here. So what I did, made a div surrounding the image and the title. And in the image, we got the image here with the video title as the alt. And then we've got a div with a class of absolute insect background black, rounded LG. And then we have another div, which is basically going to position our play button. So we got orange. I think we did orange VG, but anyway, we'll just do orange for now. And we've got that here. We're going to change it so it's the same orange, but then we have very similar to what we need, except this is a bit too long here. Okay, so let's fix that. So we'll go to the videos here, and we said that this is class. Max width. I'm going to say XL first. Margin bottom of 8, that's fine. Let's take a look. Okay, so a little bit bigger. So max width 2XL and the text LG. Okay, okay, we'll say 4XL. Excellent, that's better. We want a margin top of 4 maybe. Okay, the pattern bottom is good. Okay, obviously it's different what I've got here, but you can write whatever you want. And we're going to change that so it looks more square, so no rounded. So here we've got rounded, we'll get rid of that. And that's the only thing that's rounded, isn't it? Oh no, the image itself is rounded, we want to get rid of that. Okay, we want to add a border. Border dash white, border dash 1. Okay, and refresh that. And the background. Oh, you know what, let's remove the background for now. Okay, so that's fine. We'll put it back and we'll put the height to be 400 pixels. Let's see if that does anything. Okay, it's almost. Because we've got paddings, I think. Let's put it at. Okay, so it was how it was before. Let's just leave it as it was, remove that. Okay, so this is it. We've got the portfolio, and what I can do as well, just so that, because I'm going to be I'm going to get rid of these 2 images here, and I'm only going to give you, I'm going to use what we've already taken from Unsplash in the files. That way the integrity of my projects stays. So I'm just going to rename this to project-1 and rename project-2 and then project-3. Okay, so let's see what we've got so far. So we've got the layout, we've imported the heading, we have the array of videos with the title and the URL. In the layout, we've got one div with the background color we want, and all the text should be white unless otherwise specified. And then we've got the heading with latest videos and a little blurb. Next we've got a div with a class of grid, so that we can stack the videos side by side. On mobile it will stack on top of each other, but if it's not on mobile it'll be 3 columns. And inside that we're mapping through all the videos that we declared at the top here, and we're saying we want a padding of 4, and then we're giving this a div with class of relative z10 h4 flex call just to justify between the actual image, which is coming from placehold, and then we have a div class of absolute inset black to have the black background. Then we have this div here for the button. Oh yeah, I wanted to check in our layout file. Okay, it's called orange button. Okay, it's not what I want. Okay, no worries. So we have here absolute. And obviously this is going to be or you can get all the code at the end. I'm going to make it public for you to be able to change everything yourself. And this is the SVG of the button. And after all of those divs, we've got the div of the title. And that is the video done too. So we did the projects. I've just changed the image to be a little bit more generic. And then this is the videos with a play button and a little hover on the play button. And it's kind of similar to what we have here, not exactly the same, but it's similar-ish. I mean, you can make it into an iframe, so you have exactly what's being pulled from YouTube, if that's what you want. But for now, this is what we're going to be doing. And finally, we have the call to action section and the about me pages. So that's what we'll do in our final tutorial.